Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Chitchat with Kitcat. Again, I said I'd be back more regularly. Have I? Absolutely not. Also, if you are watching on YouTube and you can see it's very bland here, it's because I've decided to wash all of my cushions. Very productive. But to give a little bit of context of how I got to doing my third episode, because normally these are just off the cuff, haven't really planned anything too much, because do I have the time to? Absolutely not. I'm actually doing a breathwork course, I think that's what you call it, with the lovely Jess, and during a meditation, and actually with a tarot card that I pulled, it's not a tarot card, it was a beautiful card, said that I need to step up and be a leader. It linked back to like what my purpose is, and I thought I need to do another podcast episode. So everything that I gained from that class during the meditation, it came to me, and I thought it'd be a great idea to do another podcast episode of everything that I gained from the meditation, everything I gained from that class. So before I get into the podcast episode, I have to say a massive thanks to Jess, as I wouldn't actually be here recording the podcast episode right now if it wasn't thanks to her class. So big up Jess, she's absolutely fantastic. Also, before we get started again, can you see my mind is just this busy all the time to live in my brain? Fuck me. I've got loads of prints on my wall. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see. If you're listening, you can't understand what I'm fucking saying. That's a you problem. But look at all my lovely prints. I mean, you can only literally see like 5 right now. So yeah, episode 3. Who are you? Very broad question. Do we even know who we are? Probably not. Do I? I'd like to say I'm getting there. A work in progress. But yeah, I wanted this episode to be all about who we are, and it's just going back to, again, our core values, our morals, what we stand for, what's important to us, how we feel, whether that be within our jobs, doing things that we enjoy, being around certain people. I feel like it's a feeling as well, because that was a question that came up yesterday, and actually something I've been thinking about for quite a long time, especially since recently moving into my flat, is who am I, what do I enjoy, and who do I want to spend my time with. Recently, actually, sometimes it's really hard to articulate, like, I stand for this, I am this person, I like to do this, and it's actually, it can feel quite overwhelming, and it can feel quite, pressureful's not a word, is it? You can feel a lot of pressure to have these things in your head, but actually it can become like a feeling of, sometimes when the words don't come to you instantly, you can just have like a feeling, because obviously experiences, people, things, places, I feel they have like a massive just energy. Everything's energy, isn't it? So sometimes I can say to myself, okay, if I don't have the words, I can just go off by how I feel, and then 9 times out of 10 I make my decisions, and everything that I'm supposed to do or whatever guides me, I just say yes or no based on how I'm feeling. Do I still trust myself? No, but I'm hoping that my higher self will agree with me and agree with everything that I'm saying right now. Sometimes our core values can come from our experiences, and our morals can be based off, again, what we've been through, our experiences, day-to-day life, whether it be, I don't know, if you've been through a bit of a shit time, that can really make you come out, when you do come out the other side of it, it can just really, I'd like to say, it makes you reevaluate what's important in your life, what's not important in your life. So I know on my last podcast episode, I went a little bit into who I am, what I've been through, and some of my traumas, and how I lost my mum. And oh my goodness, that has shaped me massively in who I am today, my values, what I'll tolerate. One thing I won't tolerate with everything that I've been through is I just won't tolerate absolute bullshit anymore. I can't be asked. Like, I look at people and situations around me, even if I'm out socially, and I'm just like going out and grabbing my coffee and someone's having a barney at the end of the fucking road. Who has the time, genuinely, who has the time of day to actually put their energy into such shit? Because I actually can't be bothered. But obviously I understand some things like can make us feel really irate, angry, and we can have arguments. But people who genuinely have drama in their day-to-day lives, like, I don't know. I think as well that comes with age, and again, what you've been through. Like, before, Probably, actually, no, 100%. Growing up in my teenage years, like, whilst everything was fine, hadn't really been through much trauma. I'd say I had a lovely upbringing. But I did seem to attract drama all the time. So, like, my values then would be totally different to my values now, which leads me on as well to, like, something quite poignant that I got yesterday from yesterday's class and just from talking to people, is that our values can change throughout our lives. And with that, as we grow and evolve, we leave some people behind. And although that seems really sad, you do lose people along the way, and that's absolutely fine. Which actually then brought me on to my next point, which is probably quite negative, I'd say. And it's probably just where I am in my life right now. Is there really one person for someone forever? Like, do I believe in soulmates? At the moment, do I believe in soulmates at the moment? Absolutely fucking not. Probably because I actually don't have the capacity in my mindset right now to think of, I couldn't think of anything worse. But also, when you grow and evolve, you are going to naturally literally shed old parts of you that just won't be won't be within you for your future self. It just won't be part of you anymore. But to counteract that, to, argue the other point, you can obviously grow with someone, and that's a very beautiful thing. But I don't know, sometimes I just really struggle to know that, or believe in soulmates, that there is just one person for someone for the rest of their life. I don't know. I'd like to think that I shoot myself in the foot. I don't think that's the right thing to say. I surprise myself. I shock myself. I have a great experience, and then I look back to this day and I go, I remember the 23rd of January when I said this. Fucking hell, how wrong was she? And I'm walking up the aisle and the rest is history. But yeah, I've actually prepared notes today. Again, you can't see what I'm doing right now if you're on Spotify. But if you're on YouTube, you can see my lovely little, I've even got highlighters out. Fucking hell, she means business. But no, what I was moving on to next is, I think, and this is again what came up for me yesterday and really pushed me to want to do another episode, and actually brought me back to why I wanted to start doing these episodes and why I actually wanted to start to do a podcast. Because one, I can't stop fucking talking, which I think it's pretty obvious. But also, I love the idea of helping people. I recently have just finished, actually, but for the past 3 years I've been a wellbeing mentor for a young adult, and honestly, that is where I used to get I felt so good. I just felt good knowing that I was helping someone. And I mostly find myself when I'm in a really shit time, or if I'm close to rock bottom, I'll always get a sign from something. Yesterday was through a meditation. I've noticed when I am rock bottom, or when I'm just having a really shit time, something will show me or put me back on my path to actually, I just really want to help people. And it doesn't even have to be in the conventional way of, oh, do you need me to pick up your shopping? Do you need me to, do you know what I mean? It doesn't even need to be like in the conventional way of helping someone. I think helping people can really be found through authenticity and just being real with people. Like I said before, I do not have time for bullshit. And I think the more real you can be with people, whether it be online, whether it be in person, through conversation, interactions with people, and just, if you can do everything throughout your day being real and authentic and true to yourself, then I think that's honestly one of the best things that you could do. Like, who has time to fake or just be worried as well about, oh, if I'm this and if I am being true to myself and share that with someone else, how is that going to be perceived? Who gives a shit? Who actually gives a shit? So you're probably, if you're listening to this right now, you've probably found me through my house reviews. I wanted to do that, and the reason why I did that was because I wanted to be authentic, and it was when I tried to find my first flat, and I wanted to share how feral it was out there and how crap the property market was, and I wanted to share that with my audience because you know, they could be going to look for their first flat or their first home, or just to see what's out there. And they might have an idea in their head of, oh, this could be really easy. I've got X amount of money in my bank, or I've got this plan that I've got, and I'm going in with this person. It should be a piece of piss. It should be fine. And absolutely not. Not because of, say, your situation or your financial status or anything, but just because there's fuck all out there, and people just like to take the piss out of people with what they're offering. Like some of the flats that I looked around and what they were charging and what they weren't doing. It's a horror story. It's for another day. But the main reason why I wanted to share that was, to have a bit of a laugh with people online, but also to be honest and to be authentic and to be true. I mean, like, I love to share what I do with my property reviews and stuff, but if you follow me, you'll see, like, on my stories or on my other accounts, like I have a holistic account, it all goes back to me and being authentic and true to myself. And I just think it's really important to share with other people, because, like, you get all that other side on social media of, like, everything's really perfect and I've got the perfect family and I've got the perfect home and I've got the perfect money in my bank and I've got the perfect, and that's lovely. Like, seriously, I am so happy when I see that. But obviously, if say you're going through a bit of a shit time and that's all you see, you can get burnout, I feel like, when you just constantly see, like, people living their lives and it all seems really great and you're having a really shit day. Like, gals, if you're on your period, if you've got the shits, if you've just had a breakup, or if you've just, do you know what I mean? If it's all just piling on top of you, or I don't know, I don't want to manifest this, so I don't know, the boiler breaks, or you've got no hot water, and you're just constantly seeing positive things on your feed, I'm gonna fucking unfollow you. No, I won't. But do you know what I mean? It can actually become really exhausting. So I think that was a really long-winded way of saying that I love helping other people, but putting the question on you now, like, what is your life's purpose? Like, these can be really nice as well, because something that I've got into recently is journaling. I like to do it in the morning with my cup of tea, live, laugh, loving in my flat. But I just love to get everything on pen to paper, especially when my mind feels really busy and just chaotic and whatnot. What is your life's purpose? Like, what do you like doing? Who are you? That's something that I've got really into recently, journaling, getting things down on paper. And that's how I found, by just making the mind really quiet. Like, I don't know, for me, that stresses me out. Like, I read that in a book, like, you've just got to get really quiet within yourself before the answers come to you. And honestly, it's so true. Like, the idea of that was like, I need to know this now. If I don't know this now, then I can't be asked. It just must come to me. And then I just feel so pressured and anxious and stressed. But no, I found my answers from journaling, meditating yesterday, and the answers do just come to you when you just stop for a fucking minute. They do just come to you. So I highly recommend, and I highly recommend just getting really fucking quiet with yourself as well. But just, something I wanted to move on to, like, my last point of the last conversation, or one of the final conversations of this episode, is growth. And how, as we grow, we are literally shedding old versions of ourselves all the time. Like, I don't know about you, but I literally, compared to myself now to last week, I feel completely different. But I also think that is because I feel like you get to a point sometimes, if you're just really unhappy or you're in a rut, I do feel like sometimes you just have that really hard, honest conversation with yourself, and you just get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not actually willing to be in this place anymore. I'm fucking changing and I'm sorting my shit out. And that's probably why I feel so different to last week, because last week I just weren't tolerating bullshit anymore, and I just wasn't not tolerating bullshit. It was more within myself and, like, how I was spending time during the day. And I was like, you're just not going to get to where you're going to get to if you're just constantly like this and are constantly within this mindset. Like, let's just shift it. Let's fuck it off. Yeah, we're constantly shedding, like, old versions of ourselves, and that can be really painful. It can be really painful, because I don't know about you, I'm all for comfort. I long for comfort and that feeling of home. That's what I mean. I love it. But sometimes, I mean, to be fair, I never really get it, because I actually feel really lonely, incredibly lonely all the fucking time. But that's another topic of conversation for another day, another episode. But sometimes getting out of your comfort zone and getting out of that it can be really painful, because if you're anything like me, I'm a very positive person on the outside, and I like to say that I'm quite relatable, I'm quite fun, quite approachable, you can come and have a good laugh with me in a chat. I mean, I love talking to you on Instagram, you're fucking great. But actually, like, when I'm in my own mind and I'm in a funk, I'm a dickhead. My mind can be so cruel, and subconsciously as well, because I'm like, why am I feeling these negative feelings? And it's all coming from like a place of control and trying. It's like my brain's just constantly trying to get somewhere and trying to control everything. Like, I really struggle to just let it be and just to be really kind to myself. And like, you know, you don't have to be having the worst time in the world or have something really bad happen to you to just be a bit kinder to yourself. Like, honestly, I am my best version of myself when I'm being so kind to myself. Like, oh, I want to do this, and this today. And if you don't do that, then you're a fucking idiot. And it's just actually, if I don't, that's fine. I can do something that's actually going to recharge myself, and I can just actually forgive myself and just go easy and just be soft. That's what I was going to say. Just be soft with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just like, give yourself a break. But yeah, just like dealing with that inner conflict, the negative bias, the thought patterns that always seem to be there, but they don't serve us anything. You can just let it go. They're not serving us anymore. But it can be really hard to let go of, because you know you need to let go of, but it's just sort of always there. And also, I don't know where this applies to this podcast episode, but it's just, I've got it highlighted, and if I've got it highlighted, then it's fucking important. But like, my main thing is connection. Connection's so important, especially with me being an extrovert. I love connection. I love talking to people. I mean, I'm living alone and I'm talking into a fucking mic, and do you know what I mean? I just love the idea of helping someone through words, even if I'm not with you right now. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of just connecting. It doesn't even have to be through conversation. It can be through a moment or a hug. You know? Oh, fun fact. You know what? I'm going to end the podcast episode on this note. Apparently, we are all hugging wrong. You're meant to hug the right way. So I go in all the time. If I go in for a hug, I go in the left way. But apparently, if you hug in the right way, you actually connect your heart to the heart, which is actually connected to your liver. And that is just a more authentic way of giving someone a hug. And apparently, if you hug the left way rather than the right way, which is actually the right way, it can actually be a sign of anger and resentment. Because have you ever given somebody a hug who you fucking hated and actually just wanted to fuck off before? Because I have. And apparently there's just a lot of anger there. Even though that would be your default to hug someone the left way, you're meant to do it the right way. I'm going to end the podcast on that note now. On that beautiful note, consider this as a virtual hug the right way from me to you. That has been a little bit of a mismatch episode. I love talking to you and I love doing this podcast. It's a passion of mine. I love editing it. I love just everything about it. And again, the authenticity that comes with it, the connection that comes with it, and how hopefully I've been able to help someone through it as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like watching me walk through each episode, or make sure to give it a like, and also give a review too if you do listen to this on Spotify. Apparently that really helps with like the rankings of the podcast in general, so make sure to do that as well if you want to. But let me know as well if there's anything you want me to talk about next time or in future. If you want to see anything else on the podcast, if you want to see a person on the podcast, whatever you want, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. But until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay humble. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.